be doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just parking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out. Yeah.
Well, that was a hell of a first round. Welcome to the Athletes Forum podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Locker Room, what's up? How's everyone doing? Ryan just did what we thought they were going to do versus Madrid, so we'll dive a little bit into that game. But the main game we want to dive into is Munich versus Paris, and a little bit of the playoffs and what we're going to see going forward. So, as we can see here, great first round of the playoffs in the European League of Football, which is living up to the hype of being the best, the best set of games that the European League of Football has had when it comes to the playoffs. And next week it's only going to get even better. All right. The first game I want to dive into, as you can see the scores here, who won, who lost. Both home teams win, having to put up 40. That's ironic. But the first game I want to dive into is the most anticipated game I've been waiting for, the most anticipated game I know a lot of people have been waiting for, and it lived up to the hype. That dude you see on screen right there, that's a bad man. Zach Edwards is a bad man, and he proved it this weekend. Paris played well. It was a great game all around. When it's all said and done, Zach Edwards, he'll have his jersey retired in Paris. He'll have his jersey retired in Barcelona, bringing two new franchises to the playoffs for the first time. And ironically, both his second year over there. He's definitely made his mark, not only in the league, but in those two franchises. And I'm sure, those franchises thank him enough. Diving into the game a little bit. I thought Munich would have pulled this off, and they made a couple mistakes that they could have avoided earlier to maybe get the win in this game, but ultimately Paris was able to pull it through. When you look at this game and the matchups, these two teams match as well. Maybe we'll get them again next year. We shall see. But diving into this game a little bit. First, let's talk about Paris. Paris did a good job at establishing a physicality that Munich has not seen. Probably has not seen since the Surge game. All right. A little bit more of a running attack that we're used to seeing from Volumbu, or Vumbu, whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce it. Running back for Paris. Zach did what he was supposed to do whenever, there was a light edge or Munich lost contain or, they over rush. Zach made him pay. And he was getting positive yards each and every time. There were even some times where he would get hit. Wasn't even fazed by it. All right. Zach did what Zach was supposed to do. All right. Willed his way, got his teammates involved. Austin Mitchell, return game. Again, great. All right. LaRousse banged up a little bit, made some key plays, tackled them, caught some passes too. Anthony Mahungu came back. All right. We didn't really see a lot of Berlin, but a lot of people got involved. But I think the key in regards to Paris and moving the rock and being able to get, move the chains was, they were able to find the matchups. They were attacking the Kimby. All right. Maybe that was in the game plan. Zach was, really attacking like the outside edges in that Ravens defense. And again, Ravens played a great game up front too. So ultimately, Paris was able to pull through. And people are going to ask me, why are you picking against Paris? I actually like Paris. I do. I just thought Munich had an opportunity to maybe get an upset. And if they would have made some adjustments earlier in the game, I think they could have. But I was wrong. Munich, on the other hand, second year the franchise, under new coach Contrell Ellison, go to the playoffs in his first season. They played a good game. There was opportunities there. This is something that they're going to learn from. But Munich now has a foundation that they built off last year. They improved this year. Now, how do they improve going forward? We shall see. Chad Jeffries played a phenomenal game. He was efficient. He knew where to go all the time in the pass game. Malik Stanley played well. Marouche played well. I think the Ravens, what they tried to do is really attack the Paris defense on the outside run game, stretches, outside zone, some speed options. And there were a lot of good opportunities. And, they also took advantage of those opportunities as well. They should have stopped kicking Austin Mitchell the ball. All right. He is in the same group as Devon Burrow. when it comes to elite kick returner in Europe. Why are you kicking him the ball, right? Why? Paris probably won the field position off special teams alone in this game because Austin Mitchell, at least 2 returns got either closer past 50, and then obviously that one return before the first half ended, where he took it to the crib. So then we enter the third quarter, and this third quarter probably better than most games I've seen in the ELF in terms of excitement. All right, we go to a kickoff to Munich. All right, again, they were running a lot of outside plays. Well, they run a stretch play. Dawson Dale over pursues. Away cuts it back, 70 to the crib. All right, score. They kick it off to Paris. Paris drives down, score. Paris kicks it up to John Cole, kick return to the crib. All right. Phenomenal turn of events. And this game was just amazing. And then obviously the game goes on and comes down to it. Ravens score. There's a Malik Stanley end zone catch that, again, perfect ball, perfect catch, great coverage with Chandler Jones. There ain't nothing as a DB, there's nothing we can do about it. And then I think the key and kind of when Paris made their mark was they had a 5-minute drive to basically seal the game. Walumbu scores his third touchdown. They drive it all the way downfield. They get to the red zone. I think, again, attacking Nakimbe on the outside, who was a little soft in terms of, being willing to attack. Like when you're in the inside 20, at that point, it's aggressive catch technique. There's no backing up at that point. So he was giving ground. They get the first, and they ultimately end up scoring. Paris wins. Nothing you can do about that. All right, learning experience all around for Munich. But don't hang your heads because you had a great season. Paris, again, great win. And this was probably, if I redid a top 5 games all time in the ELF, this would probably be number 1. All right, I enjoyed this game a lot. Again, shout out to that bad man on screen right there, Zach Edwards getting the dub, and off to the next round. All right, this game kind of went how we all thought it was going to be, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Ultimately, Glenn Tunga is unstoppable. Harlan Kofi had a great game, 7 catches, 130-something yards, 3 touchdowns. Ryan is exactly where they want to be at the right time in terms of peaking. All right. And next week, we're going to get the rematch. All right. They go to Stuttgart to do it, but we're going to get the rematch. All right. This is going to be just a phenomenal game. And then Paris and Vienna. Oh my God. I would say from here on out, all these games are championship games. Paris Vikings championship game. Surge Fire championship game. Whoever wins out of those games, we're going to get a great game anyway. All right. So these playoffs have been great. Shout out to Paris for winning. Shout out to the Fire for winning. I went 1-for-1 on predictions. We'll see how everything goes. But man, it's definitely been a great run in the ELF. And I said this before the season started that this season would be the most important and best year in the ELF, and it's definitely lived up to the hype.